How's it going, everybody? Today we're going to be taking a look at the Python list. So a list is simply a collection of different objects, and its order is changeable. So in Python, we declare a list in square brackets. So using what we learned in the last video with our variable names, we can say my_list equals, and then we put anything we want inside the list inside these square brackets. So let's put some numbers to begin. We'll say 1, 2, 3, 6, 8, and 3. Okay, perfect. So in this tutorial, we're going to look at a bunch of different things we can do to this list and a bunch of different methods that we can apply to it. So the first thing that you might want to do with a list is access a specific element of the list. So we can do that in Python by using what's called indexing. So basically, each one of these corresponds to a number. So the first element corresponds to the number 0. The second object in the array is 1. The third object is 2, and so on. So for example, if we want to grab this number 2 here, that's in the second position, so it's index 1. So we can grab that by saying print, because we're going to print it out, and then my list, and then brackets 1. So this will grab and print this 2 here. Down here in the terminal, let's try that out. Python main.py. Perfect, we get number 2. Now if we change this to, say, 4, that's saying print the 4th index. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. We should see the number 8. And we do. We also have what's called negative indexing. So say I want to access this last list element. To do that, we can simply put -1. And that will say grab the last element. There we go, we get 3, which is indeed the last element. And just like indexing the normal way, if I want the second element, I'll say 1, then 2. You can do the same thing for negative indexing. So if I want the second to last element, I will say -2, and that should give us 8. Perfect. Now we also have what's called a range of indexes. So if we want to print out 3 through, say, this 3, so we want to print out 3, 6, 8, and 3. Well, if we wanted to print out this 3, it would be indexed 2, right? 0, 1, 2. And then to get to here, 3, 4, 5. So this is index 5. So we want to print through index 6. So we can use a colon and then do 6. And this will say print starting at index 2 all the way through index 6. So this will print right here. Let's print that out. And there we go. We get 3, 6, 8, and 3, just as we'd expect. Now, say we wanted to print out from the beginning all the way to this 3. Well, you could do something like this, 0 to 6, but you can also just leave out that 0, and this will print all the way up until index 6. There we go. And the same thing works the opposite direction. So if I wanted to say print everything from index 6 to the end, we can do that just like that. Oops. There we go. 6, 8, 9, 10. Alright, so that's ranges in indexes. Next, let's look at changing a value. So I'm going to change these to an array of programming languages. So we'll say Java, JavaScript, Python, HTML. That's fine for now. So let's see. What if I want to change JavaScript to CSS? Well, what we can do is say my list, and then we can grab the index of JavaScript, which is 1, and then we can just set that equal to whatever we want. So we can set that equal to CSS, and this will override whatever's in here. Now if we print this out, we get Java CSS Python. And we can also print out my list before this, so we can see that's actually changing. There we go. So we see Java, JavaScript, Python, HTML, and then after we swap, we get this. All right, perfect. Next, we're going to look at adding items to a list. So say I want to append CSS onto this list after HTML. Well, I can say my list, and I can use the .append method right there, and I can say CSS. When we run this, whoops, we're not printing anything. And then when I print my list, there we go. CSS is now added to the list. Now, say I wanted to insert CSS after JavaScript. Well, I can use that by using the insert method, and that takes two parameters. The first is the position where you want it to insert. So we will say after CSS, so 0, 1, comma, and what you want to actually insert. Now if we run this, we should see, there we go, Java and then CSS, JavaScript. So it puts it at that position. So it pushes everything to the right. Now, just like we can insert an item and append an item, we can also remove an item. So we can say mylist.remove, and then this just takes in one argument, and we can say remove Java. So when we run this should remove Java from the list, and there we go. It is no longer there. Now we can also use the pop method to remove items as well, and this takes in an index. So if we don't pass in anything, it will remove the last item. So if we just do that, it will remove HTML. Perfect. But we can give it an index. So say remove JavaScript, which is index 1. Now if we run that, JavaScript is gone. Now we also have the delete keyword. So we can say delete, del, space, my list, and then pass in an index. So if we pass in 0, it will remove Java because that is at the 0th index. Run that, there we go, Java's gone.